Hi, hello and welcome. This is Charulata from St. Paul's, Chengalpet. We are looking for the 12th standard chapter 1 principles of management. I have divided this into 4 modules, and in the first module we saw about the meaning, definition and the concept of the management, and in the second module we saw about whether management is an art or the science, and also the difference between the management and administration, and in the third module we saw about the management purpose, process, and also the principles of scientific management by F.W. Taylor. And now in this module we are going to see about the principles of modern management. The principles of management. Earlier when I started with the lesson, I gave you the meaning of the management, isn't it? Here management refers to the getting the things done with and through others. Okay, and we saw about the scientific principles of management given by the F.W. Taylor. Now this is a modern principle, and it is given by Mr. Henry Fayol. Now we are going to see how we are going to manage, that is the principles of modern management given by Henry Fayol, and he has given the 14 principles how to get the works done with and through others. So he has given 14 rules, so how it can be done effectively. Okay, he has given 14 major principles of the management where every manager has to practice in order to attain the success or in order to reach the predetermined goals. And the first one is division of work. Division of work, as I said earlier, when the mother is cooking, she divides the works among her kids. To cut the vegetables, to buy the vegetables, to place the things in their order, and all these, this is called the division of work. In the same way, the manager also divides the work according to the skill of the person. Okay, and the second one is authority and responsibility. Authority means a right of the superior to give the order to his subordinates. Okay, whereas responsibility means in order to perform, or the obligation for the performance. So authority is given by the superior and the responsibility is taken up by the employees in order to perform their work. And the third one is discipline. Discipline alone determines your level of success. So here also the employees should have the obedience and respect of authority, that is they should need some sort of discipline for the essential of the for the smooth functioning of all the organizations. And the fourth one is unity of command. Unity of command means a subordinate should receive the orders only by one and only one superior. Supposing here, see, if you see the picture, you can see he is the, and the red one is the superior and all the green ones are the subordinates. They are receiving the orders from one superior. Whereas the wrong approach is, if they are getting the orders from 2 or more persons, if there are 2 heads now, how can the subordinate work? He will receive one command from one manager, and the other manager will say something, and he don't know which one to follow. So unity of command means a subordinate should receive the orders from only one superior. There should be only one head. Okay, and the fifth one is unity of direction. In the same way, there should be one plan of action. They should be under the control of one manager. So a manager knows what is the goal of the organization. He will give the instruction according to that goal to his subordinates, and the subordinates have to work along that goal. He should not deviate from the goal. So the direction, one manager gives the subordinates the order, accordingly the subordinates will work. And the sixth one is subordination of individual interest to the mutual interest. It is understood, see, the management and the workers should go hand in hand. They should the managers should not have any personal prejudice towards the employees. So they should keep aside their personal thing, and they have to work for the organizational objectives. So they have to put the company's objective first and the company's goal first. So management and the workers should have the interest of increasing the production, thereby increasing the profit. Both of them should go hand in hand. See the picture there. And the seventh one is Remuneration is nothing but the salary. So the worker should be paid sufficiently in order to motivate them, and therefore they will increase the production. So that the salary given to the employee should be reasonable and fair, and only then the manager can manage. Okay. And the eighth one is degree of centralization. As I said earlier, the one should have the receive the command from one superior. In the same way, centralization implies that the topmost management has the authority to make the decision, and the subordinates should follow the decisions. See here, the centralized versus decentralized. Here in this centralization, one manager gives the order and the other subordinates work. Whereas here, the second decentralization, what do we say in Tamil? It is called as தலக்கு தல பெருதனம் பண்றதுங்கிறது. Not like that. They should receive the orders from their superiors, and the decision should be taken only by the top management, and the decision has to be followed by the employees. And the ninth one is line of authority. As I said earlier, if it is a school now, correspondent should principal should receive the orders from the correspondent. Principal gives an order to the teachers, and the teacher gives an order to the students, and the students they have a leader. He has to command, and the leader have a assistant leader or a monitor. So this is the way the line of authority should come. So the level of line of authority should be from the top level to the bottom level. Okay. And order. People and material must be in suitable places at appropriate time for the maximum efficiency. See here the picture. Here they are preparing the goods, they are sending the goods, they are packing the goods, and then they are logistic work is done here. So it should be in a proper time and proper place. It should be in an order. Only then the manager can manage the organization. Everything should be put in or people and materials should be put in an order at an appropriate time. And the 11th one is equity. Here the manager should treat all the employees equally, and there should be any partiality between the employees. Okay. And then 12th one is stability of tenure of personnel. Personnel means here the higher officials, managers. See, if a manager has been appointed in one company, he should be there for at least 5 to 10 years. Every now and then, if they are going to quit, and there won't be a proper management. So, in order to run the organization smoothly, the manager should work there for at least 5 years. See, for even in our state, if a chief minister is appointed, they will be working for at least 5 years. Only then we will come to know how far he will be able to manage. What can be done within his period of time, how well he can do. Every now and then, if the managers are removing and they are quitting, it will not, the functioning of the management will not be well. Okay. And the 13th one is initiative. Initiative means it is from the part of the employees. So employee has to initiate. He has to give a new idea or a new suggestions in order to improve the production. It is in the hand of employees. He should take the ideas, initiative ideas, and it should be given as a suggestion to the managers, and he has to approve and he has to decide, and then he can do it. So initiative is from the part of the employees, which will increase the strength for the organization for the new and better ideas. And the fourth one is team spirit. Always, everywhere, if we are in team, if we are in union, definitely the organization will improve a lot. So each one should not go in their own way. Everybody should work together for the increasing the production and thereby the profit. And these are the 14 principles that has been given by the Henry Fayol. And the next one is span of management. Let me tell you what do you mean by span of management. For example, during the quarantine period, the mothers or the parents, what do they say? No, I don't know how the teachers are maintaining all 40 students, 35 students in a classroom. We cannot manage 2 kids of ours during this quarantine period, during when the children are at home. So what does this mean is, how many number of subordinates a manager can manage is said to be a span of management. Another example, what can I say, is span of attention. See, for the LKG and UKG children, they have the listening capacity for at least 20 minutes. Later then they will start playing. So their span of attention is for 20 minutes. Do you understand the meaning of span? The same way, the span of management refers to the number of subordinates who can be managed efficiently by the superior. If there are more number of superiors, it will be difficult. It is the less number of subordinates. If there is a more number of subordinates, it will be difficult for one manager to manage. Okay, and now we will see. The management has two implications: influences the complexities of the individual manager's job, and second one is determine the shape or configuration of the organization. I will tell you what it is. See, there is a wide and narrow span of management. Okay, with the wide span there will be less hierarchical levels, and thus organizational structure would be flatter. See the next picture. And in the narrow span, the hierarchical level increases, and hence the organizational structure would be tall. You see the picture here, you can understand this. Here, this is a narrow span of management. Why I am telling you it is narrow span of management means, there will be one superior. See here in the first picture, this is a narrow span of management. Okay, here both these narrow and wider span have their own advantages and disadvantages. But in the narrow span of management, there will be less number of subordinates under one superior. See here, there is only one superior, and he has one managers in each department. And it will be the only disadvantages, it would be very expensive in the terms of salaries to be paid to the senior. And with the more levels of hierarchical, communication also will be suffering. It will take lot of time to reach the decision taken by the manager to the subordinates. And also there will be a lack of coordination and control, because the operating staff will be far away from the top management. This is this one I am telling about this. The tall organizational structure or the narrow span is the same. And the major advantage of this narrow span of management is that cross communication get facilitated. Here operative staff communicate with the top management, and also there is a chance of promotion, which will promotion will be increasing because the availability of several jobs. Under each head there are one managers are there, so they can be promoted easily according to their performance. And the next one is flatter organization, or we can say it also wider span. Okay, where the span level is wide, it will be more complex for supervisory relationship between the manager and the subordinate. It will be very difficult for the superior to manage the large number of subordinates at a time, and also they may not listen it, and it will not reach effectively. So benefit of wide span of management is that number of managers will be getting reduced. Yes or no? See here, only 3 managers, one superior at the top and 3 managers, and then each department has one managers. So expenses in terms of remuneration will be saved, and the subordinates also will be feel very relaxed, and they will develop their independent spirit in the free world of environment. So where the strict supervision is absent. This is a difference between the narrow span of management and the wider span of management. Do you understand? And this is about the span of management. Hope you understood about the span of management, and also by the principles of modern management. Okay, let me have the recap of what we have done today. Okay, there are 14 principles of management given by the F.W. Henry Fayol, and the first one is division of work, and the second one is authority and responsibility, and third one is discipline, fourth one is unity of command, fifth one is unity of direction, sixth is subordination of individual interest to mutual interest, seventh one is remuneration, eighth one is the degree of centralization, Ninth one is line of authority. 10th one is order. 11th one is equity. 12th one is stability of tenure of personnel. And 13th one is initiative. And 14th one is team of spirit. These are the 14 principles of modern management given by Mr. Henry Fayol. And the last one we saw about is the span of management. We saw about the wider and the narrow and the wider span of management. This is about the principles of management. The chapter 1 is completed with this, and I will give you some materials further. Okay.